What's good, everybody? Rocking with your boy, All Rights Reserved, coming to you. What is your thoughts on Team Foreman versus Team Segal? As of recently, there has been Foreman calling out Segal. Now, this is a martial artist and a boxer. Two people that are masters of their craft. Two people that have, for years, held their sport down. One a heavyweight champion, one not a champion, but a martial arts champion in his own right that very many martial arts champions won't go and combat with. So that's his testament to power. So now we're looking at how entertainment has reached another level and a plateau of being regarded and respected. And we're trying to figure out how it fits into what we call the modern day society of boxing, modern day society of martial arts, modern day society of fighting, or any type of sport that involves two people combating each other. Now, I know that it seems like things could be off here and there, but we don't really know. This is a martial artist versus a boxer. We just seen something like that. So is George Foreman getting his viewpoint from what Mayweather and McGregor did? Very well, maybe. But we know that Steven Seagal is an accomplished martial artist, let alone a part-time cop in Cincinnati. You think his arsenal is not large? He's not ready to do combat? This is going to be crazy. If this fight goes down, it will be one of the greatest fights in history. I would say even more so than McGregor and Mayweather, because we have two individuals that are masters of their craft going at it for respect. And it's not just respect in their veteran sport, but respect from each other. My opinion on this, if this does go down, it will be one of the greatest matches. Not only because these are two individuals that have worked real hard to become the type of people they have and to become as good of artists at what they do, but just because these are two people who are respected. Two people that are respected in their respective fields. But the thing is, do you think if they fought, that one may kill the other? Now, just like the McGregor thing, that hammer fist and different things, that works into the martial arts that Segal uses, if I'm not mistaken. That has a lot to do with the perception of whether or not he can actually put damage on someone or counter them. Now, Foreman's going to have to be very careful because he's going to throw fists. Literally leaning forward with the front of your head can break someone's wrist if you're not very careful. And these are things that I think are going to be taken into account, let alone if we've seen the movies, just the different arsenals that we have with Segal versus a lot of other martial artists and a boxer facing it. It's a little more than McGregor. You know what I mean? We've seen Jeet Kune Do. I don't know exactly what Segal does, but it's not Jeet Kune Do. It is a more refined martial art that relies on defenses and strikes. And that's why I'm mentioning that hammer fist thing, because his strikes and things, even in the movies, if you watch, it sends people flying or puts people down. I don't think he's really a fighter as much as he is a killer, in my opinion. So I really don't know how this fight would go. I've seen George Foreman over the years, heavyweight champ. One thing I will say is Mike Tyson did not fight him, so we don't know the power behind the punch. That's what a lot of, I would presume, the thoughts are, because he was one of the heaviest hitting boxers that ever stepped into the ring in the league at one point in time, and we did not see him take on the champion Mike Tyson, who could easily be, let's say, a pinnacle to judge power by. But we didn't have that opportunity. Whereas with Steven Seagal, if we think of martial arts, but if he put on boxing gloves, fighting gloves, and you know George Foreman ain't kicking, so I really don't get how this is going to work. Is this sort of like the same thing as McGregor and Mayweather, or is it a little different? Well, let's say experience in the mix is different. Mayweather may have been a better boxer because he was undefeated, but the competition George Foreman had very well may have beat any and every boxer that we know, that some of the competition he beat. And we could go back over that. One of the people, just naming him, Buster Douglas, was one of the greatest boxers that in mankind that we can even name and know of. So I would say it's still up in the air. I don't think it's clear cut and dry. I just think this is exciting, sort of like the Mayweather McGregor thing. I don't know if the fight's actually going to go down, but there would be 3 other videos. One when they confirm it, another when they weigh in and look each other in the eyes, and another for the winner and the loser. So it does have replay value for a lot of different media and a lot of different sports people involved. I do not know if it's solidified. I just know that in the link below, if you check it out, he's going into D-Bell and he's very confident in making his call out. It's sort of like a very concentrated call out, because normally there's a couple people you don't call out. That's still alive. Chuck Norris is one of them, and I would think Steven Seagal would be the other, but it seems like I was wrong. So I guess that this is something real, and this is really going to be put into media as something that's going to headline, and something that's going to rock the century, that's going to bring people back to sports and really start to enjoy and respect what's going on in the league of boxing. There's a lot of attention going towards boxing versus other sports because, like I said, George Foreman ain't kicking, and Steven Seagal, if he accepts, he'd be glad to get in there and throw hands because that's sort of what he does in martial arts. The only thing is, George Foreman using power could be used against you with the martial arts he uses, so it's real hard to see who would stand over top. But the one thing that we can say without a shadow of a doubt is that this will be a very exciting match, and that bets will be all over the place. Me personally, I don't know if I'd bet for Foreman just because I've seen so many Segal movies, and I know that with his fighting style, boxing and different things, it hasn't been successful against him from what I've seen. A lot of different people who look like they were strong, even in movies, went to throw punches and just literally got destroyed. So I don't know if that's what he plans to do to defeat him. I don't even know if that's what he's going to do to put harm on him. I don't know if you can harm him that way. But what I do know is that with the mixture of martial arts, boxing, and just sports that involve overall hand-to-hand combat, this is a very good way for a martial artist and a boxer to settle things. Now, the boxer does have the advantage when the gloves go on because Steven Seagal is not in the UFC. He doesn't use gloves at all. But at the same token, this is an advantage because we know that he is martial arts, so he's very refined in his skill. He's very refined in the different things he does as a fighter. So it's up in the air. There's no one that can really say without a shadow of a doubt that he won't be effective or he won't be able to defend himself against George Foreman. Vice versa, George Foreman, he's a martial artist. You have more dangers to worry about him blocking your punch with the top of his head or him delivering a blow that could potentially break something in your body because he's very well trained to do this, and he's done it in many different occasions. And I mean, that's how this martial artist and this boxing champion, heavyweight champion in the past rock. But you know how we rock. All rights reserved.